Hey, Shalom, Call Allah, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rachakodash, double honors head apostles, great millstone, and bishops and elders that rule well. Shalom, true brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully, and continually fighting that good fight of faith. Lord willing, we are found in that number to be delivered. Alright? So, as you see the title, Not the Negroes. And that title comes from the Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary, which, there's still prints out there. You can still get them for cheap money. But, it obtains one of the most profound lines in books, period. Especially for the time that we're living in. All right? And as its title says, not the Negroes. So let's look a little bit into that and see what's going on here. Okay? So, when you open up the Compact Bible Dictionary and look up Ham, this is what you're going to see. Okay? It says Ham, perhaps hot. The youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. And it's going to give you a couple of scriptures to go to clarify or to prove what's being said. All right. So, in keeping with this, real quick, just a little side note. Now, we understand when you read about the birth of children in the scriptures, the birth of the males primarily, and if there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, if there's 1 or more sons, it's going to give you the chronological order in which these sons were born. So in other words, it's going to give you their names and the order in which they were born. All right. So when you're reading Ham and you go into the account of the sons of Noah, okay, you're going to see Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? So in actuality, Ham is not the youngest of the 3 sons. According to the chronological order, how the names were given. All right. We can get to it, Lord, when we get to it a little later, but I just want to make that quick side note. And I'll explain why I believe that Ham is actually the middle son. But all that being said, all right, not the Negroes. So let's read this here. As a source, Zondervan's Compact Bible Dictionary. This is perhaps one of the best known references found within a major publication. The choice of words indicates that Negroes are from the line of Shem, which is exactly right. All right. So now, where are all these so-called, biblical scholars and all these archaeologists and all these Edomites who love to dig up shit and find shit and do all kind? Where is this? Where are these people at, man? All right. Here you have, as it stated, one of the world's major publications when it comes to biblical scripture or just biblical things. Period. All right. Because now you have a group of people, the Negroes, who have been identified in this major publication as not being a descendant of the Africans. So who are they? Where'd they come from? Where's their line coming from? You would think that some of these so-called scholars would jump and pounce on the opportunity to have an earth-shattering revelation and bring it out and to be on the news and, to be the first ones. But you hear nothing but crickets on this one. Nothing but crickets. All right? So all that being said, the definition of Ham, let's read the beginning. It says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood. So now we're talking about the flood. All right? And as you know, Esau, the great archaeologist that he feels he is, he read the scriptures. He read that the ark landed on the mountains of Ararat. And what did he do? He went over there. This devil went over there and he found an object that looked to be about the same exact measurements of Noah's Ark, right? And then more scholars went over there, and more scholars went over there, and they all came to the same conclusion, that this was the location where the ark rested, all right? So, with that being said, and I'm pretty sure these scholars have come across the Zion Living Bible Dictionary, come across the name Ham, and read what some other scholar has put in place, very matter-of-factly. They've read it, and they know what it says, but not a damn person saying a damn thing about it. You know why? Because it'll shake the whole earth, man. History would no more be in existence. The line of history would be no more in existence here in America. Out of here. Because now you have to identify who these people are, the Negroes, that is, who they are, where they came from, what their line is. And if that has to be discussed, and if that gets broken down to, and if that gets examined, then there's going to be a lot of unhappy people in the world. So what do? They don't come nowhere near it with a 10-foot pole. As much as Esau likes to do all kinds of mischief and dig up shit and make up all kinds of stories, man, oh man. All right. So there's the location of Noah's Ark. Okay. These scholars have all flocked over there, flying over by helicopter, taking aerial view pictures by drones, and they just went through the whole gamut. And they've all come to that very same conclusion, right? But now you need to identify who these Negroes are. Now we know who they are. But it's so goddamn far-fetched when it's made mention in the world, because people just don't believe that the so-called Negroes in America are anyone of any type of importance. All right? So I want to say this, and this is going to be just a edification, lesson. I'm gonna throw a couple scriptures in there as well. So I'm gonna say this, right? So now you have the Pope in the coat of arms, all right? And here, one of the major coat of arms that they wear on their attire, if you will, okay? And if you look, you can probably see it on the Pope's, I'll call it a lapel over there, whatever it is. But this is what you have. You have a black face, which they call the Moor's head. Okay? Who are the Moors? What people profess and proclaim themselves to be the Moors? All right? And then on the other side, on the turn on that, and why is the so-called white race wearing black faces, if you will? Why? Okay? And nobody's talking about it. So much so that nobody's talking about it. Here you have the African leaders here. These are all these African leaders of the world. All right? You would think that some of these leaders would come forth and say, hey, Mr. White Man, why are you wearing our people on your attire? Why are you reverencing our people? Okay? But not a damn near one of them has said a damn thing. You know why? Because they all know that that is not their people. These men who hold these, prestigious leadership positions throughout the region of Africa, they know damn well and very clearly that the faces that are on the Pope's attire. Matter of fact, let's back out of this real quick. All these faces that are on the Pope's attire, their lapels, their garments, these are all black faces, known as as they call them, the Moors heads. Okay? These Africans know that these faces don't belong to them. And this is why you hear nothing about it from any one of them. All right? But let's bring the scripture out. Psalms 83:3. It says, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." All right? That's the point. The hidden ones. This is the reason why you hear zero information about who those faces are on these on the apparel of these popes and deacons and whomever they may be. All right? This is why there's no debate, there's no fuss, because the people who it actually belongs to have no idea who they are as a people, have no idea that these faces, these images that are strewn and sewn on and embroidered on these garments and all this attire, these people have no idea that it's them who it belongs to. All right? These are Israelites. Okay? These are the sons of those that walked through the Red Sea. And even still, even those in the so-called Moor community, they're not bringing this out. They're not screaming at the rooftops, you know. Now we of the Hope for the Elect and brothers that do the history and go through the research, we understand that these things are visible, but they're hidden in plain sight, if you will. Nobody's questioning these things. And we understand that when the Lord comes back, he's going to straighten all this shit out. But in the meantime, these are the things that are on the apparel of these popes, of these so-called biblical fathers. All right? And you can also go to the book Nature Knows No Color Line. All right? And there you'll have a lot of, black faces wearing crowns and wearing all types of royal apparel. Okay? And the majority of those individuals in that book have what we would call here in America or in society today Italian last names. All right? So it all belongs to us. It all identifies us. But because of that crafty counsel, all right, because of the world, it being the world's best kept secret, because of these things, nobody knows a goddamn thing. And nobody's looking to know, and nobody wants to know a damn thing. But Esau thinks he's slick. Esau thinks he's slick. He slaps you right in the face with it, but he knows that the so-called Negroes are so blind and oblivious to what their nationality is. He can wear these things without any repercussion, without any discord. All right? Now, this picture here speaks of the Arab slave trade, which is an actual picture. All right? These are all Israelites right here. And off to the left here, you got these Arabs who are ruling over them. Okay? And again, those so-called African leaders, they know who you are. They know where your line derives from. Shit, even the small hats, even they know who you are. Now, the low-level small hats may not know, because their pride is so damn thick. There's no chance in hell that anybody else can be the Lord's people but them. But these upper echelon, these upper elites, they know who you are. And even these Arabs, these Arab elites, they know who you are because they had you in slavery. They had you on the auction block. They had you in their fields, in their homes, in doing all types of hard labor. All right. So it's no mystery that the so-called Negro in America plays an intricate part in history. Period. Period. It doesn't begin in Africa and it doesn't end in Africa, as some would want you to believe. Oh yeah, you Africans, you're just African Americans. They're African, and people are content with that. Especially our people. Our people are content with labeling themselves as Africa, and very content on identifying the land of Africa as their motherland. Because that's what Esau gave you. Esau fed that shit. He spoon-fed that to you. Okay? And as he was spoon-feeding that to you, your taste buds desired to have more of that. And so they put people in place to give you just what you wanted. Till it came down to the point you're calling yourselves Kemet and African American and celebrating Kwanzaa and doing all types of African jigaboo dances, knowing damn well your spirit does not come anywhere near close to resonating with that African spirit, man. And we always make mention of these so-called rappers and movie stars talking all that big shit about motherland and motherland and go over there and can't wait to get the hell out of there. You are not that people, and that is not your people. You so-called Negroes. All right? It has nothing to do, Atlanta has nothing to do with you except coming over here and resting in that area, okay, for a certain period of time. Zechariah 1:15. It says, I am very sore displeased with the heathen. Okay? He's very sore displeased with the heathen. These Arabs, they're heathens. They're heathens. And the amount of people that died. Now, if you look right close here, you see this woman here. You can see the baby, cradled over in a carrier, if you will. That baby probably didn't even make it. These heathens, man, all y'all gonna pay. And I'm gonna say it that way, man. You got what's coming to you. You got what's coming to you. And a lot of these men that you see here are probably back on the earth today. And the Lord's going to put that spirit of remembrance in them when that time comes to hunt you down. All right? Continuing on back in Zechariah, it says, and I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. All right? That's exactly what they've done. They've helped forward the affliction, taking our people from different regions of the world, putting them on cargo slave ships, throwing them overboard, killing them, having no mercy on them, selling them, stripping them of everything they have, separating their families. And that's been an ongoing thing since the beginning of time when these devils came into power. Separating the father from the mother, or the father from the wife, and ripping the kids out from the family, man. That time is coming where the Lord is going to raise up his people, all right? He's going to raise up his people, and they're going to go through and tread down and tear in pieces, man. You so-called Negroes in America today, you better wake the hell up. You better wake the hell up before it's too late. Running around calling yourselves all these other nationalities, but the true nationality that you are. right? Now, going back to Ham, and I just want to make mention of this, and this is just my own thought. So, I believe the reason why it identifies, and once again, this is just a pure speculation, but the reason why it probably identifies Ham as the youngest, because of that curse. All right. Now here you have the descendants of Ham, right? You have the Egyptians, Ethiopians, the Libyans, and the Canaanites. Now Canaan was the youngest son of Ham. He was the youngest son. And as I stated earlier, the chronological order of how in the time that they were born is how they're described, in the writings. We know it tells you that Noah had 3 sons, and it gives you the chronological birth order: Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? That's clear. That's crystal clear. So why is it making mention that Ham is the youngest if the scriptures clearly tell you that he is the middle son? You see? Now, when Ham saw the nakedness of his father, right, a curse fell upon him. All right, and I'll say it this way: a curse fell upon his line. All right, it didn't necessarily fall upon him, because it said, "Cursed be Canaan." Now, if it fell on Ham himself, then the Egyptians would have been cursed, the Ethiopians would have been cursed, and the Libyans would have been cursed. But that curse only fell upon Canaan. Cursed be Canaan, right? And Canaan was the youngest son. So as I was thinking and meditating on that, that's, like I said, I speak as a man when I say this. It ain't proven. There's nothing proven, but just trying to rationalize and put this together. Ham was the middle son. He wasn't the youngest. At first I thought, well, maybe Esau was trying to get slick and, sow a little doubt in this, because it says not the Negroes being, of the Hamites. At first I was like, well, maybe they can be using that as just a talking point to say, oh, you see, nope, look, that's even wrong. So this is wrong too. But after further consideration, I was like, well, maybe it's got to be because of his youngest son, Canaan, was the one where the curse fell upon. But once again, all that it's not carved in stone. I was just throwing it out there and just thinking about it. Not that it even fucking matters at this point. They all going into slavery anyway. It don't really matter. All right. But Esau, he likes to sow doubt in everything that is true. He sows doubt in everything that's true. All right. So Lord willing, brothers will edify us. A little bit of information that came out wasn't much, but we all know what it is from the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary when it comes to Ham. How it's not the Negroes that are the descendants of Ham. We are the descendants of Shem. All right. So Lord willing, brothers, to edify, and I'll see y'all brothers in another one. I say shalom.